You know what? You don't always need this. A big tube amp and a 4x12 cap to get a great guitar tone. Sometimes all you need is this. It totally depends on the project. And yes, this is a small, cheap, old practice amp with a 6-inch guitar speaker. Today I want to tell you the story how my dear friend and colleague Ulf Blomberg turned a bunch of MIDI notes and DI tracks that sound like this into a sludgy and dirty old school death metal sound like this. And yes, he actually used that cheap practice amp. All you gotta do is be creative sometimes. He actually used that amp and a few really nasty pedals for both the guitar and the bass tone of that project. And he even recorded the drum samples himself. That's a really cool story. By the way, what you are about to watch is a little snippet of a 2-hour-long course that is called From MIDI to Mayhem. What a cool title. Link below, $29, really cool course where Ulf shows you the entire process of how he recorded the samples, got the guitar tone, mixed the song, and the course includes the MIDI files and the DI tracks because we want you to come up with your version of that song. We want you to reamp the guitars and to find some cool samples. Upload your version and Ulf and me will pick 5 winners who can win a wonderful drum sampler from Herzdrums, the Herzdrums 2, including 1 library. I'll tell you a little more later, but now it's time to pass it over to Ulf to show you how he created a really nasty and disgusting guitar tone with this little practice amp. Let's have some fun together and let's get dirty.
It's time to check the guitar tones. And before we dive into the technical details, let's talk about the vision behind this project. When Ritual Roadmap approached me, they had a raw DIY aesthetic in mind, something gritty and authentic, but still powerful and polished. So to achieve that, I decided to embrace a little challenge, and that is to use subpar equipment and forcing it to sound good. Limitations can spark creativity. When you're forced to work with what you have, you often discover unique sounds and techniques you wouldn't have tried otherwise. This small amp, for example, on the surface, it might not look like much, but small doesn't necessarily mean a smaller sound. In fact, some of the most iconic tones in music history came from modest setups. 2 examples. We have Entombed, they recorded on the PV Bandit, got the really iconic Swedish death metal sound. We have Queens of the Stone Age, also recorded on some small PV combo and just weird amps, got amazing massive sounds. There is a lot to explore outside just the standard high gain amps that you're used to. So after some experimenting with this amp, placement combinations with different pedals in front of it, placement of microphones and stuff like that, I also ended up reamping the bass through the same setup. Okay, so it's time to reamp the guitars, and the signal flow I used was line out from my Antelope interface into this DIY built reamp box. First layer of guitars went into the HM2 pedal, and then into the little mini amp that I showed you before. I experimented a little bit with the placement. The first one I had the amp standing just on the floor, mic'd up with an SM58, just straight into the dust cap of the cone. Then I tried to putting it on its back on the floor. Since this little combo is open back, I wanted to simulate a closed back. And also when we do that, we don't have the early reflections from the floor bouncing up in the microphone. It changes the sound quite a bit. Compare. So I have a little bit more oomph in the low mids. Then I also wanted to try to just put it against the wall instead of having it on the floor. I liked the one against the wall the most for the HM2, and I know I did 2 other layers with other distortion pedals, which were the Grindstein that Kohle did in collaboration with Cleartone pedals, which is kind of a take of HM2, but it's split up with a regular high gain preamp. So you pretty much have a normal distorted sound, and you can mix it with the HM2 sound. And then I also had this God City Instruments pedal DIY build too, that I think added something to the sound, and I will show you all the different layers here in a bit. And for the HM2 pedal, I used the amp pushed up against the wall, and for the other 2 pedals, I had it on the floor to have a bit more of that low-mid boost. I then have 3 layers here with HM2, Grindstein, and the Socialist Junior. So you can listen to the HM2. And the Grindstein. And the Socialist. So as you can hear, I don't have as much distortion on the Socialist Junior pedal, and I keep that in there to give a little bit more definition to the playing. So we have the extreme HM2 sound from the HM2, aggressive top end in the Grindstein, and then, yeah, as I said, just a little bit more definition and less gain in the Socialist Junior. And together... all the reamped tracks are zeroed on the faders. So what I usually do with guitar sound, at least, I start at the guitar group channel. And my go-to thing for EQing guitars and often distorted bass is the Pultec mid EQ. Yeah, so I really like the mid EQ 5 from Universal Audio, but we also have one included in Cubase that is called EQ M5. I have it here on a preset that opens automatically. So I have the low frequency on 1 kilohertz, high frequency on 1.5 kilohertz, and I boost those. And then I have the mid frequency on 300 and attenuate that a little bit. Make it a little bit more nasally and like gnarly. I want more of the HM2 sound, so I'm gonna bring those up like 5 dB. They are a little bit too gritty in the top end, so we're gonna see if we can do something about that. Activate the low pass. And so we take away that it's not really any musical content in it. Yeah, we can probably boost a little bit more here at around 2K. Much more nasty. Let's go back to the guitar, listen with the drums and bass. Put a little compression on it. I usually don't put a lot of compression on the guitar buses, but in this case there's so much of that low end going on, so I think we need to tame it a little bit. And I'm gonna show you like a guitar EQ trick to make guitars just sound instantly more evil. If you boost 100, cut 200, and then boost 1K or 1.5K, you get that kind of HM2 sounds. If you're recording like a regular sounding distorted amp and you put that EQ on it, it will sound more like an HM2. I'm gonna tweak a little bit. Okay, so we're starting to get somewhere, carving it out bit by bit. Okay, so I think it's time to start doing some stuff on the master bus, because I think we need to bring everything together a little bit. An instance of Soothe on here to take care of all the layers of distortion and stuff. Next thing we're gonna put on is this Studer 800 on it, but I'm not going through tape, I'm just doing the input stage. And I'm really driving this, so I'm kind of using it as a limiter, sort of. So if you look here at the meter here, you can see without it, it's a bit more lively. We're basically clipping the transients. Then I have an instance of the oven to get some analog feel. So we have low, mid, and top burn all on 50%. And then we're also using the stereo widening a little bit. So it's bringing out the guitars a little bit and also making it just a tiny bit more wide. Good old Devil Lock. We have the standard 1-1 on Crush and Crunch, but I moved the release time to fast. Darkness, not too much, just taking just the most top end off a little bit. And mix, we'll see. Yeah, I feel like higher than 2, it starts to feel like everything is pumping a little bit, but around there somewhere, and I feel we get a lot of density and the feeling of loudness out of this. Got the almighty Soundtech plugin boosting a little bottom. Now we're cutting a little 280, like around 300 hertz. Just take out some boxiness. Yeah. After that here we're also taking out some like 840. Next band. Boost here at 3.4 kilohertz. Then I just put one instance of Elquran limiter, cutting a little bit and a very fast release time. Just touching it before we go into ozone. The limiter, for some reason, I always prefer IRC2. Can go for, yeah, we can leave the rest as it is, I guess. We maybe should activate also the low control here from Black Salt Audio.
I gotta interrupt you here, I'm very sorry. If you want to watch more of this, you can. That's the good news. Click the link below to the full course From MIDI to Mayhem with Ulf Blomberg, and he will tell you the whole story. That course also includes the multitracks of the song, the MIDI and the DI tracks, because right now we want you to come up with your version of this song. A little challenge, right? So watch the course, download the MIDI files and the DI tracks, reamp the guitars with amp sims, with real gear, whatever works for you. Find the right drum samples for this song and upload your version. And Ulf and me will listen to all the submissions and we will pick 5 winners who will each get a really nice sounding drum sampler from Hertz Instruments. This is the Hertz Drums 2, plus an additional library of your choice. How cool is that? Because this instrument is what Ulf is using in the course to create his custom drum kit, because this drum sampler is very versatile, very flexible, and it sounds really good. There's another link below to Hertz Drums. Please check them out. They make really cool stuff. And I hope this is an additional inspiration to get the course. As usual, like with every course we are releasing, there are 2 ways how you can get it. Either you just get the course, right now it's $29, go grab it. Or if you want more, if you want all our courses, you can also join Kohle Audio Cult, become a member, and you will get your hands on all our courses and multitracks and plugins and samples and IRs from day one. Link below to the Academy. I see you inside the cult. Thanks for watching. I hope this was a little inspiring to you to get a little more creative and get a little more dirty. Thanks to Ulf as well. I see you in hell, motherfuckers. Bye-bye.